Hello again, all you damn dirty nerds out there. So, once again, same day, literally just like minutes after I made the previous video. So, I'm just kind of doing as many videos today as I can while I'm just sitting here. And in the last video, I kind of brought up that this video would be about, making books and TV shows into, books into TV shows and movies. So, I figured that'd be a good topic for this video. And I think it can be acknowledged, like, right off the bat, that the books are typically better. Now, there are cases where the movie or the TV show is better. Or it'll just be, they'll copy, almost line for line from the book into the movie or TV show. So, now there are exceptions to the rule of book is better, And as sacrilegious as it is to say, sometimes I would actually have to say it happens more often than we like to think. Probably one of the best examples I can think of off the top of my head right now is probably Odd Thomas. Odd Thomas is a Dean Koontz novel. I don't know when it came out, but the movie came out probably like 2012, 2013, I want to say. I don't really know off the top of my head. But honestly, what really kind of made the movie better was, I would have to say, kind of the dialogue. Really was kind of better in the movie. For the most part, what happened in the book happened in the film. But the way they kind of changed things in the movie from the book, really just more things kind of came as a surprise in the movie. Whereas in the book, it kind of spoiled something that was about to happen. So it was just kind of, the movie just made certain things more dramatic. So that one just kind of came up off the bat, off the top of my head. So what other things can be done about book and movies, about books to movies, or books to screen? I guess would probably be a quicker way of saying it. Honestly, I think animation would probably have to be used much more often, and not just like cartoon animation, but we can use like adult animation. It doesn't have to be cartoony. There are a lot of cartoon movies out there that just had absolutely kick-ass animation that can be great for books or movies. But when you think about it, one of the biggest obstacles from books to screen is special effects. In the book, you can describe something, and then the reader can just imagine it, much easier and much quicker and much cheaper than a production company can, bring it up on live screen. And let's face it, CGI isn't always going to work. CGI can actually completely ruin it. So, when it comes to making from books to film, I really do think that animation should be more utilized. You're able to do more. All you have to really do is just draw it, or I don't really know like the full process, but it just seems like it'd be easier to bring something to an animated setting rather than a live action one. Live action can still work. Lord of the Rings proved that. Harry Potter proved that. It can still work, but the problem is that there is a fine line between CGI that works and CGI that doesn't. Case in point, this one is kind of a popular one, but Henry Cavill's mustache removal in Justice League, ew. No. They spent so much money on that, and it looked like that. Like, where did that money go? you know? And so it really just kind of, so my thoughts are all over the place right now. But no, so yeah, so yeah, animation probably it would be better utilized, in terms of, you know, book to screen. If there's things that, you know, you don't really need to digitize, like for instance, if it's like a romance book, or, you know, a, you know, pure like real world fiction, then sure, you can do live action, and you wouldn't have to really sacrifice anything, you know. But when that is the case, though, the biggest problem is, you know, trying to choose if it's going to be a movie or TV show, because if it's a series, you know, a TV show would probably be better. A series of unfortunate events. It had a movie back in the early 2000s starring Jim Carrey, and they shoved the first 3 books into, you know, an hour and, I don't even think it was an hour and 20 minutes, like 90 minutes, you know. And it's not a bad movie. I enjoyed the movie when I was younger, but, you know, it kind of left out some things, you know, and they kind of had to quickly go through, you know, the events of the book. Whereas the Netflix series focused on one book at a time, and so they were able to kind of go deeper into it, and you were able to kind of and it was just more enjoyable that way. It was more bingeable, really. So if and one of my biggest enemies is Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. Remember that? Yeah, that, I know that's not book to screen, but that is really a great example of trying to shove too much into one, you know, storyline. You know, they shoved the entire first season of Avatar into one movie, and it had horrible CGI, and it was utterly atrocious, and it was a waste of money. I really should have sued to get my money back, you know? So, so if it's a series, TV would probably be better. That way, each season can focus on one book, and the season doesn't have to be very long. You know, a lot of people, when they think of, you know, a TV season, it's like 20 episodes. You know, there are a lot of TV shows that only have like 12 episodes a season. Game of Thrones didn't have very long seasons. You know, they were only like, what, 12 episodes a season or something like that. So they were able to get away with it. So it doesn't have to be long seasons, you know. If you're able to get away with it, feel free. But I would actually stay away from filler. That's another thing. And you'll find this particularly when it comes to anime, because a lot of anime will be made not long after a manga series will be written, and the anime will go so fast that it'll catch up to the manga, and what'll end up happening is the studio will then have filler episodes that won't be canon, but will also but in many cases they will ruin like surprises that the manga, you know, has built up to. You know, like someone will show a power in these filler episodes that they, you know, just showed in the manga, and it really just kind of ruins it for the people who have only watched the anime and the people who have read the manga, because when, you know, these big reveals happen, you know, it's dramatic. There's emotion tied to it. When you reveal them in these filler episodes, it's like, why did you do that? You know, it just comes off as, you know, cheap. And now you're left wondering, okay, is that power actually canon? Is the story canon? You know? So yeah, that's one of the downsides of doing a series from a book series. So I would choose a series that is already finished. That way you have the source material already done. And then you also don't have the George R.R. Martin problem. Right, George? Liar. So, so yeah. So, just some examples of great book series that can be made into a series of films or a TV series. One of them, and I've been advocating this for years, is Patricia Briggs's Mercy Thompson series. It's an absolutely wonderful series. You wouldn't really even have to do that many special effects because yes, there's magic involved, but it's not one of those series that, they're having fireballs fly every 10, 15 seconds. The probably the most frequent of powers being used is shapeshifting, and in the Mercy Thompson series, the shapeshifting is a long drawn out process that's very painful, but you can easily just kind of pan around and just hear bones cracking, and that wouldn't be a bad thing. Or you can kind of have a person go into another room, because that's typically what ends up happening in the book. A lot of people tend to, because it is a painful process, people are a little grouchy when the change is done. So they tend to go to a different room to kind of also have some extra time to cool off when they're done, So that's something that the TV show could do. Another book series that would also be really great, and I talked about this one in the previous one, is Mercy Thompson. And just like in Mercy, not I see what I did. I might have to edit this out. We'll see. I might just keep it in, but not Mercy Thompson. Kate Daniels, the Kate Daniels series by Ilona Andrews. So, and just like Mercy Thompson, that's kind of where my wires got crossed. And just like Mercy Thompson, Kate Daniels actually takes place in our world. It's an urban fantasy. But unlike Mercy Thompson series, this one is more of a, it's not dystopian, but it's different enough that you can get away with, changing aspects of, the real world, of the world in the show, So that would be also something kind of fun to play around with. And you'd have to worry a little bit more for special effects. This one would probably also be great as an animated show. So that would also, so I think animation would probably be the best way to go for Kate Daniels, because there's a bit more magic involved. There's a bit more showy kind of things going on that would, I think, really benefit more from animation rather than CGI or any kind of live action. Another great series would be the Charlie Davidson series. And I forget the name of the author, but the Charlie Davidson series, it's it doesn't really have, you'd be able to do live action for this one because it doesn't really have so many special effects. You would have people disappearing into a light, and I'll probably explain the series at some point for people who don't know. But if you're interested, but honestly, I would look into this series for the readers out there, because it's a great series. But that's really kind of the main special effect kind of a thing that happens. Everything else can you can get a lot done with practical effects. So that's another great series. That's another great series to do. And probably the final series. Let's see. This is the problem when you've read so many books. Eventually, when you start to just pick one out of the lineup, it's like, huh. Anyway, let's see. What's a good kid series that we could do? What's a good kiddie series that we could do? Something that I read when I was younger. Not Cry the Ice Mark. I think that'd be more of a teen series. Well, that wouldn't be a bad series to do. But no, it'd be that one would be more that one would be animation because there's a lot of creatures that you'd have to do. And the same way with oh god, I can't think of Timur Pierce's Turtle like series that she did. So there's God, I can't think of I've read so many books that they're all just kind of like flying right out of my head. But so yeah, there's a lot of options when it comes to, you know, books to screen, you know. And so honestly, Hollywood, I really would just kind of go to a library, start picking out books, trying to, you know, and try to adapt them as faithfully as you can, so that way, you know, the fans, because really what the fans really want, they want to see what they've read come to life, you know, one way or the other. They don't want, you know, a director's interpretation of it, you know. They want words to screen. Like that's really kind of it. But, you know, I understand that, you know, changes will have to be made for production and timing and costs and yada yada yada. But other than that, I really do feel like there's a lot of inspiration out there that can be done and done well, and can really just kind of, you know, perk a lot of people's interests, you know. So so I think that's kind of it for today. So if you have any suggestions for future videos, feel free to comment down below. If you have any other series that you might have read that you would like to see put to screen, go ahead and let me know. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to share, go ahead. So, I think that's about it. Why don't you guys go on and have a good day.